Are men and women equal?
I don't know at this point.
Actually, women are better than men. What do men bring to the world? Literally nothing. Women, the vibes, just everything. Everything is brought to by women.
Yeah, it's all about the vibes. Without the vibes, we don't survive.
I completely disagree. You say that men bring nothing in the world. Everything you know and love. If you look around the entire infrastructure of our nation, our economy, every building you walk into, the camera that's filming you right now, the microphone you're speaking to, everything is built, maintained, and it's still maintained to this day through men. Hardworking men.
I love how he's mansplaining this to me.
No, I'm serious that the way that you are portraying your ideas and opinions is through technology and infrastructure and an economy and a nation that was not only built, but it's still maintained to this day by men.
She tried all the childish little tactics to wind him up, but it didn't work. She said he was mansplaining, she's trying to mock him, she's trying to pull faces, and then once she realises that she's getting schooled, she goes on to try and insult him, which also does not work.
Yeah, because women have been oppressed for like hundreds of years.
How so?
Did men allow you to have that haircut?
You taking personal attacks makes me seem like the more intelligent. You know, if you want to have a real debate, you don't bring up personal attacks. It shows that you're
Okay, I understand.
Validate your point, not some personal attack because you're losing the argument.
You gonna let him win? Come on. What you have to say?
Let's go Poland!
Yeah, like he says, once you start making it personal and you start acting like a child, then you've lost. This guy stayed calm, he made his points, and he kept making her and her friends look like donuts.
Feminism stops whenever it's inconvenient for y'all. In Ukraine, you have all the wives getting shipped out to Moscow and all these other nations, and they're partying in clubs and getting railed by other guys while their husbands are forced to stay in the nation. You don't see any feminists in Ukraine saying, hey, no, the women should stay also, because we're equal. Feminism only matters to y'all whenever it benefits y'all. When it doesn't benefit y'all, it doesn't matter to y'all.
All right, what's your response to that?
I'm just sorry he feels that way. Like, I hear you.
You know, I respect it a lot more when women just admit that feminism goes out the window when it's time for war.
If World War III should break out, should women get drafted?
No.
No.
Fuck feminism.
All of y'all are saying that.
Feminism.
No.
What should we have to do?
I will stay in the kitchen. I will stay in the kitchen.
How are women overall oppressed in today?
It's like a white, cisgendered, like straight appearing man.
Well, I'm asking you as well.
But I'm
you're
saying,
assuming
like,
what
I
I am?
can't.
Are you assuming?
I can't,
You're
like.
assuming my gender? You're assuming my sexuality?
Hold on. Let's take a shot.
Are you assuming my sexuality? That was very rude of you. I feel oppressed right now, actually.
See,
Very
the
oppressed,
problem
I feel
is
right now.
that he feels okay to make like jokes about how harmful
I'm not
the
joking.
patriarchy
I think that is
actually
kind of
is.
rude.
Okay, but what
for her
kind of
to assume
patriarchy?
My gender, assume my sexuality.
Watching a young man educate clueless feminists gives me hope for the future of young men.
Accessing puberty blockers, which are reversible. And
They're not reversible though if they're changing them forever.
they are not changing them forever. Puberty blockers just prevent
There are minors, there are people in high school that are getting double mastectomies. Now they're getting bottom surgery in high school. Yes, they are. There are minors and people advocating for this. It doesn't matter.
You've got to see these kids on puberty blockers. It's clear that the effects don't seem reversible.
Being a lesbian is a sin. Okay, Roman says this.
Time to listen up, you silly liberal fruitcakes. I came out here, wanted to tell some jokes. Let's do some reality checks here. Do you have any idea, sir, how pathetic it must be to be you? These people wanted to come out and have a good time, hear a few jokes, some thoughtful discussion, but your head pops off the pillow in the morning with, oh, how can I be a professional victim today? Let me go in and screw with their act just because, oh my God, your parents didn't tell you that your opinion wasn't worth that much. Look, they're confused. You know why? Because I'm not your gender studies professor who has to cater to your trigger warning, microaggression, safe space bullshit. There's no such thing as...
Can't accept yourself. You can't expect others to accept you.
I like your cape.
Thank you. It's a flag.
What's the flag?
Soviet flag.
Oh my gosh. I take it back.
You claimed that the reason that there are more transgender people now is because they are more confused. The hate crimes against transgender people are much higher than those against any other demographic. So is it not more likely that there are more transgender people now because...
Are there more hate crimes in the United States against transgender people or Jews?
I guess transgender, but I am not sure.
You are certainly not sure. That's right. It's the answer is Jews.
That could just be a numbers thing, though. Like if you're like,
it is a numbers thing, but you cited a numbers thing, so then I'm citing a different numbers numbers.
0.1% of people in America are transgenders, and yeah, like 100% of them could be like affected by crime.
Is it not, though, more likely that people are identifying as transgender now because of a decrease in the percentage of hate crimes as opposed to previous decades?
The identification is part of the confusion because a man isn't a woman and a woman isn't a man. There is sexual difference. The sexes are not indistinguishable.
The idea of a man wearing a Soviet flag while defending transgender rights shows complete ignorance.
If you're dating a transgender person and you're straight at the time, does that mean you're straight after you date them?
Yes.
Yeah. I think you're still straight. Like you're a guy and you're dating a trans girl. Yeah. I think you're still straight. Because also sometimes it's just hard to tell.
You're still straight even if you're dating a transgender person?
Yes. I guess because it's your own sexuality and I guess it doesn't really matter in regard to who you're dating as long as it's what you are.
When do we reach that point where you're no longer straight?
Like, okay, let's say you're a male, but then you're with someone who was a woman but transitioned into a male, then I guess like you would be gay then. People who identify as the same gender. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so it's all about identity, not necessarily by biology in that respect, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
People are telling us that you could date a transgender person and still be straight. Does that make sense to you?
No, that don't make sense because they changed their gender. So technically, you still not straight. You changed your gender for that person.
No, because they're not originally a girl. I wouldn't say that you'd still be straight.
You think that's something else at that point?
Yeah, it's something.
Personally, date a transgender person?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
No. No.
And why is that?
I'm heterosexual.
Would you date a transgender person? First we're gonna ask Georgetown, and then we're gonna ask the Hood.
Either of you guys date a transgender?
Yeah, I would. Yes.
And have you ever done it?
No. Yeah, I'm already in a relationship.
Is it a transgender relationship?
No, it's not.
Would you date a transgender person?
I don't see why not. I don't think it's like that big of a deal.
Would you personally date a transgender person?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
Would you date a transgender?
No, I'm a transgender. I like men.
A man that's dressed as a woman would make me appear to be a lesbian in public, but I'm heterosexual. I wouldn't date a woman that's dressed as a man because then that is being a lesbian, and I'm not a lesbian, so.
Why don't you want to?
I mean, I'm straight, bro. Like, I like females.
Right.
Real females, you feel what I'm saying?
Apology is a sin.
What is a logical fallacy?
You are talking
I am
first.
talking. I am
It's a
literally
total waste
talking.
of time.
Oh my
You want to
God.
make this about appendicitis now.
But you rely on a medical professional
That's a
to
medical
make...
condition.
Oh
Is
my
pu-
God.
Is
And
puberty a medical
intersexism
condition?
and gender dysphoria?
Is puberty a medical condition?
Yes.
Natural puberty is a medical
yes,
condition.
Yes, it is, because it is a medical process.
Puberty is a medical process.
Yes, it is.
How so?
Because it relies on chemicals to help
Is
the
breathing
child.
a medical process?
Yes.
Is your heart beating a medical process?
Yes.
I think they,
So everything's a medical process.
I think what you mean is a biological process.
And what field of study does medicine...
You can win an argument with a smart person, but you'll never win with a fool.
Are you in a relationship?
I cannot disclose my. I have some ops, let's say. So I'm going to keep that on wraps. I try to keep things a little vague. Yeah. So
No, I just wanted to know if I could hit or not.
I beg your pardon.
Well, you're an attractive woman. However, I have to politely turn you down on that because there's videos of you on the internet, which for me is a
big no-no.
A deal breaker.
Have you watched any of them?
No.
You're cute though.
Sorry.
In that kind of like weird, cute way.
I'm cute in that kind of like weird.
I have a little crush on you. Are you one of them people who's like, I want my girl to be a little virgin?
I prefer a woman with a low body count, and if that means she's a virgin, then
What's
sure.
a low body count in your eyes?
I mean, it depends on the age, but I mean, the lower the better.
Yeah, well done, Brian. You dodged a bullet and the possibility of catching things that are not curable. And I've seen this donut before, and not only is she a corn star, but she comes across as a lunatic that needs Michael.
Get some help.
I interview people for a professional.
Company policy, I gotta hang on some
No,
microphone.
I literally do it for like the Pac-12, so I feel like I'm higher up than you, so I feel like I should.
I don't know if you're higher up than me.
I literally guarantee you I am.
I don't think you are.
Like, I'm making money for athletes.
How much money are you making?
It's not your business more than you, babe.
It's not.
I guarantee you.
Tell me how much money you're making right now on camera. You want to flex it? Tell me.
95, more than you, babe.
95 what?
95,000.
A month?
A year.
That's more than me?
Probably. You're only getting pussy as payment.
You can't pull up and take my microphone and then say I'm more qualified than you and then...
No, I literally am more qualified than you, but it's hard.
Yeah, she's
I'm
good.
just trying to fight him right now.
She wants to fight me for some reason.
I'm not a fucking bimbo.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
He's the douchebag.
I'm the douchebag?
You can tell she's not great at speaking on camera by how many times she says, literally.
Alex,
if you're going to accuse someone of spreading misinformation, I think it's important you should get your facts right. It wasn't just the Free Speech Union account, it was my personal account and the account of the Daily Skeptic that were closed by PayPal, and they were closed by PayPal in September of this year, not 2020. And whilst PayPal did cite spreading misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccines as one of several reasons they ran up the flagpole for doing it, that was on the Daily Skeptic, not Twitter. They subsequently resiled because they restored my accounts about 2 weeks later after I kicked up an almighty fuss in the media and in Parliament. But apart from that, spot on. Freedom of speech should not mean freedom from consequences. I wonder if you'd include what happened to Salman Rushdie earlier this year as a consequence of free speech. But look, before we get into the substance of this, I just want to tell you how puzzled I was by one of the phrases. This House believes woke culture has gone too far. It was the conjunction of the words woke and culture, because what is woke culture? So Christian civilization has the King James Bible, the Cathedral of Notre Dame, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, Handel's Messiah. Modernism has Tchaikovsky, Picasso, Frank Lloyd Wright, Virginia Woolf. What art and culture has the woke cult given rise to? She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Meghan Markle's podcast, the collected works of Owen Jones. The phrase woke culture is an oxymoron, a contradiction in terms, like social distancing and military intelligence. Gone too far. Woke culture has yet to get beyond the embryo stage. It's a cultural desert, a gaping void. But perhaps I'm being too literal. I assume we're talking about the ideological movement, the intersectionality cult, the oppression Olympics, the critical theories, as James Lindsay would put it, the grievance industrial complex, the great awakening, Woker's day, what Orwell would have referred to as a smelly little orthodoxy. So first let me acknowledge, Alex, that the moral impulse underpinning this movement is laudable. Wanting to reduce prejudice and discrimination and improve outcomes for historically disadvantaged groups is an admirable goal. We can quibble about the inconsistent ways in which woke moral standards are applied. In fact, let's quibble. If you think slavery is abhorrent, why focus on the historical involvement of Britain and America in the slave trade and turn a blind eye to the enslavement of nigh on 2 million Uyghurs in contemporary China, or the 200,000 people imprisoned in labor camps in North Korea? If you care about women's rights, why neglect the plight of women in Iran, who risk being beaten to death by the religious police if they don't wear the hijab? If you care about social injustice, why obsess over the inequality of different identity groups and ignore class inequalities, surely a much more pervasive source of injustice? I often suspect the reason this doctrine has gained such purchase in private schools and elite universities is so people who, according to a traditional left-wing perspective, are extraordinarily privileged can claim to be victims of oppression. I'm also puzzled by the stubborn refusal of the social justice warriors to acknowledge any of the good things about Britain, as well as itemizing the bad. Yes, the British Empire participated in the slave trade, but then so did every other empire, stretching back to ancient Greece and beyond. What makes the British Empire exceptional is that we were the first empire in history to pass a law abolishing slavery and commit blood and treasure to ending it across the world. Only a fool would say people of colour don't have to contend with prejudice and discrimination in contemporary Britain. But according to most international surveys, Britain is amongst the least racist countries in the world. A Swedish survey carried out in 2013 asked people in 80 different countries. Yes?
But you talk about British colonialism as if it's in the past. But why don't we talk about Northern Ireland? The fact that Britain is currently colonising the north of Ireland.
You don't need to be super educated to see that things have gone way too far.
Forgive you. You don't love yourself. You hate yourself. You hate yourself. You hate yourself. Because you have a cognitive dissonance.
You're being a fascist.
Your inside doesn't match the outside, and the outside doesn't match the inside. So you have turmoil going on. He'll put you back. He'll make your mind back, and you'll be a man again. You'll be a man again. You can be a man again. This is not your true self. You are who God says you are, and God says you're a man.
Let me ask you a question.
Like you. God got angry at your sin, just like now. And so I'm going to tell you today. And also, yes, being a lesbian is a sin. Okay, Romans says this. You need to repent. Angry lesbian. There goes angry lesbian. Calm down, Joe. Calm down, Joe. You need to repent, Joe. You need to repent. You're wrong. You know why? You know why you're getting mad? Because you know that you're full of sin and you need to repent and you're evil. You're evil. That's why Joe got mad. Joe got mad.
I feel bad for the parents of a young girl whose goal is to sleep with many men. They must be disappointed.
What do you think about this? Children cannot consent to puberty blockers.
You guys are totally correct. Children can't consent to puberty blockers.
That is complete facts.
Yeah, kids can't consent to that.
They should have a chance to grow up like everybody else did. Drugs ain't for kids.
I agree. I'm 45 and I still don't know who I want to be.
Have you guys heard about that at all, where children are skipping puberty and then they're taking cross-sex hormones?
I do not know.
No, I don't have know about that.
What do you think about that? That's insane?
Yeah, I think that's insane.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no point of skipping puberty. You need it to grow and develop.
When they're 18, I will love them for whoever they become. Under 18, they will stay what they were born with.
We need more people standing up against the nonsense being pushed on kids.
What's your name?
None of your business, unfortunately.
Okay, hello, nice to meet you, none of your business.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So, do you love America?
Yes, I do.
I hate America. Every state in the USA should be an independent country. What do you think of this?
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the country, do you plan to leave?
What do you mean by that?
Do you plan to go live in another country?
No, I do not.
Let me tell you something.
Your face is an idiot.
America is the only country where even those who hate it refuse to leave. That's how you know you live in a great country.
Can you prove that? Well, thank you. May I have a hat?
No. So let me ask you, none of your business. Who do you plan to vote for?
I plan to vote for Kamala Harris.
Why?
I mean, you answered my question, so I'm done here. Like, there are people waiting.
Can you tell me her greatest accomplishment?
No, I can't.
Can you tell me a single accomplishment?
I cannot. I want to leave. Like.
I am of the belief that abortion is never medically necessary.
Are you a doctor?
No. Are you?
No.
But there is a community of OBGYNs that agree with me.
So is it our decision to make? Is it something that we
Well,
can decide?
that's an interesting question.
So
First of all,
should it be something that people have the ability to vote on, yes or no, if a woman is able to make that choice?
Should a mom be able to kill her 2-year-old daughter?
No.
Are you a doctor?
No.
Okay, but why are we able to say it's wrong? So we're able to make moral statements when the baby's outside the womb. Why not when it's in the womb?
If someone hates this country, they shouldn't have a choice. They should be made to leave.
My daughter's 4 years old. I am an anti-racist educator, quote unquote. She's still watching Disney movies and she is choosing a white princess over princesses of color.
Have you talked to her about that?
All the time.
My 3-year-old daughter is her favorite princess is Moana.
Love it.
It's a good sign.
Yeah.
But then I also thought, there's a little bit of cultural appropriation here. She wants to be Moana for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we navigate that? Do I go and buy the Pacific Islander native attire for my white 3-year-old?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
But I guess what we might call the Moana problem here is what, on one hand, there's cultural appropriation. On the other hand, there's gravitating towards white characters.
Right.
So it's almost like no matter which way you go, you end up back in racism.
We think every space belongs to us because we live in a white supremacist society.
Is America an inherently racist country?
I think the word inherent is challenging there. If we say
fundamentally,
yeah.
The woman talking to Matt Walsh sounds completely out of control.
I am so tired of talking about woke culture because one of the tenets of wokeness is, of course, that your feelings matter more than the truth. And the only thing that wokeness has to offer in exchange is to brainwash bright young minds like you to believe that you are victims. We are told that your generation cares more than any other about one issue in particular, and that issue is climate change. I will join you in worshipping at the feet of St. Greta of climate change. This country is responsible for 2% of global carbon emissions, which means that if Britain was to sink into the sea right now, it would make absolutely no difference to the issue of climate change. You know why? Because the future of the climate is going to be decided in Asia and in Latin America by poor people who couldn't give a shit about saving the planet.
Someone has the power to make you believe ridiculous things. They also have the power to make you commit injustices.
It's a citizens' initiative in Poland. 100,000 citizens, if they sign a proposal for a new law, the parliament has to deal with it. So this is an initiative to...
Agresor! Policja! Zdjęte Rafale! Pomóż się za nami!
They enter into schools and they debate the children. Yes, this
Matko Boża! Módl się za nami grzesznymi! Teraz i w godzinie śmierci naszej. Amen! Polsko katolicko! Laiska! Polsko
Why do people get upset when they're called animals if they behave in such a way?
So, a baby born...
Be quiet. I don't even want to hear from you.
A baby
You're
born
like
at 22
so embarrassing
weeks.
looking. I can't even.
So, a baby born at 22 weeks out of the womb has
Did I
rights.
tell you?
Why does
I
a baby...
told you.
Are you controlling me?
I'm telling you.
You just said it was all about having no control. What are
No,
you
it's
doing
control
right
of my own body, and I don't want to hear you.
Then
so
walk away.
Cállate.
I'm right here standing. You're the one approaching me. Why does a baby at 22 weeks in the womb have no rights, but a baby 30 weeks out of the womb have rights?
Are you insane?
No.
Do you need help? I will help you all. Like, if you need access to medical care and all these things, are you in a cult? Because I can help you get out of that.
So why can't you answer my question?
I'm just worried about you.
You're avoiding the question.
The term fetus refers to the unborn, while baby refers to someone who's already born. There's a lot of complexity in this topic.
Paul is a disciple of Jesus Christ. He was inspired by the Holy Ghost. On his way to Damascus, he saw a vision.
Sexism, a bunch of homophobia. I do not want Paul as a part of my life.
He used to persecute the church, sir.
I'm not a Paulian.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm a Paulian. I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ.
If you're gonna justify this, you got.
Some people use their religion to justify wrong actions, but Jesus will hold them accountable.
What do people mean when they say they're woke, or are you woke? When they ask you that, what does that mean to you?
Are you conscious? Are you aware?
Being woke means seeing every issue through the lens of social injustice.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to get a tattoo?
I'm gonna say no. Probably not. A no. It's probably too young to make decisions. It's a pretty permanent decision. They can't make the decision for themselves. They have something permanent on their body.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to puberty blockers?
Yes. Yes. And I understand how that sounds really hypocritical. Yes, it's a permanent change on their body, but I think that at that point in their life, they probably know who they are, who they want to be.
And you think so at 12 years old?
Yes.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to puberty blockers?
Yes, because that's not a permanent decision.
That's a life-changing decision. I don't think that any 12-year-old is in a position to make a decision that's going to affect them long term.
When you get puberty blockers, for a lot of kids that's like life-saving, is keeping them from having to go through a puberty. I think puberty blockers are a great sort of like middle ground to allow a child.
It's scary when people admit they're being hypocritical, yet still go along with it. They know it's wrong but are too afraid to say the truth. That wraps up Unhinged Wokies who got humbled instantly. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite part in the comments. Stay tuned for more.